Welcome back to All Shops, Great and Small. We've been taking some time off lately, and if you refer back to episode 1 on YouTube, you remember we have no deadlines. Big Mike up at the Forksville General Store, home of the world-famous cheesesteak, takes off all of January and February. The bears in this area have been doing it for many years, even before acid rain or global warming. The days are getting longer, and I'm feeling some motivation. Not enough to leave the mountain, but enough to share some learning experiences. Because of a comment on Facebook, I was reminded of my dear departed father, and what was he most right about and me most wrong about? That would have to be keep it stock. Years ago, I was changing the camshaft in my van, and my father said, "You know, those guys at the factory, they know quite a bit about things like camshafts." He really wanted to say, "They probably even know more than you do." But he was too good of a teacher to use sarcasm as a weapon. It later on provided a great opportunity for me and my dear departed brother Joe, as the van dropped a valve on our way to the Honda convention in Dallas, Texas. Not only should we keep it stock, we should keep it exactly as it left the factory. The grease that's used on a spline is different than the grease that's used in a bearing or the dielectric grease, which is used in all the electrical connections. When a product is assembled at the factory, all the nuts and bolts are torqued to factory specifications under very controlled conditions. I had a really good teacher once at a Honda school. His name was Dieter Dice, and at one point he was head of service for Mercedes-Benz. And he said, your mechanic goes to his toolbox and gets a socket that fits the oil seal that you're about ready to drive in. Over in the special toolbox is the seal driver you're supposed to use. You drive it in with a socket, it doesn't leak for a while, but you've shortened the life of that seal. The way it's put in at the factory is the way it's supposed to be put in when the mechanic puts it in. What's the first thing you change on a motorcycle or an ATV when you get it is, of course, the exhaust system. Because the aftermarket exhaust provides more power, lighter weight, and a nice sound, especially to the owner, not necessarily to the neighbors, though. What many people don't realize is the engineering that goes into an exhaust system. The sound control, the longevity, most of all, creating a linear power curve with full RPM range drivability. To have no spikes in the power curve and all. There's an awful lot of engineering in the volume of the exhaust system in the different areas. This is an example of what can go into the engineering of one. This motorcycle uses the exhaust system as a stressed element of the frame. The other side has a down tube for the whole rear of the motorcycle, but the down tube is replaced by this exhaust system, which is bolted. It's very substantial, the structure there. So it's more than sound control, more than a smooth power curve. There's a whole lot of engineering that goes into it. The resonant vibration that the exhaust system goes through as the bike goes through the RPM range is very destructive to exhaust systems and to the mounts. And that's why there's a whole lot more to it than just making an exhaust system lighter. Again, those factory guys, they know a thing or two. To see an example of this Honda perfection, visit YouTube and see the assembly of the Honda RC 213V, which is their MotoGP motorcycle. The precision and consistency necessary for world-class competition, whether it's on the racetrack or in the showroom. Can't help but be influenced by the TV shows where they build a motorcycle and they ride it around the block. And the reality is that these factories spend thousands of hours testing prototypes in order to maintain a reputation for long, trouble-free operation. The closer you keep a vehicle to the factory specifications, the better your chances of having that long, trouble-free experience. Appreciate you watching All Shops, Great and Small. And most of all, we appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel. In the future, we'll be heading off the mountain to visit some more of our local craftsmen and tradesmen. And until then, from all shops, great and small, listen to your father and keep it stock.